For 438 days, José Salvador Alvarenga drifted across 6,700 miles of open Pacific Ocean in a 24-foot fiberglass boat, without an engine, without a radio, without any certainty that land existed in the direction the currents were taking him. He watched his companion die and kept the body for 6 days. He caught seabirds with his bare hands and ate them raw. He drained turtle blood directly into his mouth because rainwater alone would not keep him alive. This is a true survival story about what the human body can endure when the mind refuses to surrender. November 2012, the coast of Mexico, near the town of Costa Azul in Chiapas State. Alvarenga was 37 years old, a fisherman who had worked these waters for years. He understood the Gulf of Tehuantepec, understood its moods. The other fishermen called him Chanca. It meant pig in Spanish, a nickname that had stuck since childhood. He was stocky, experienced, confident in small boats. That morning, he took on a 22-year-old deckhand named Ezequiel Cordoba. Cordoba was green, inexperienced, but willing. The plan was simple: a 30-hour fishing trip. Catch shark, return, get paid. They motored out before dawn on November 17th. The boat was a Pongan open fiberglass skiff, with an outboard motor, an icebox, and not much else. No GPS, no emergency beacon. Just a two-way radio and the kind of confidence that comes from doing the same thing 1,000 times. The waters were calm. By midday, they were 60 miles offshore, hauling in small sharks and mahi-mahi. The catch was good. Then the wind changed. Storm systems in the Gulf of Tehuantepec formed fast and hit hard. By late afternoon, the swells were building, white-capping, the boat rising and falling in rhythms that turned violent. Alvarenga tried to turn back toward shore. The motor sputtered, died. He pulled the starter cord. Nothing. Again, nothing. The engine had inhaled seawater, drowned itself. They were drifting now, and the storm was pushing them west, away from Mexico, away from everything. The first night, they bailed water by hand, using the icebox, using their shoes, anything that could scoop. Cordoba was terrified. Alvarenga stayed focused. He knew the Coast Guard would look for them. They had to stay afloat until help arrived. He tossed the dead sharks overboard to lighten the load. The radio was useless. Salt water had corroded the connections. By dawn, the storm had passed, but the coastline had vanished. They were alone in open water, the current pulling them steadily west into the Pacific. Days passed, then a week. No ships, no planes. The search had been called off. Alvarenga did not know this, but he understood time. Each sunrise pushed them further from rescue. The food they had brought, a few sandwiches, some packaged snacks, lasted 3 days. After that, it was hunger. Real hunger. The kind that rewires your brain. Alvarenga began to fish with his hands. He would lean over the side of the boat, wait for small fish to swim near the hull, then lunge. The first few times, he caught nothing. Then he adjusted. He learned to move slowly, to time the grab. He caught a triggerfish, bit into it raw, chewed through scales and bones. The taste was vile. His stomach rebelled, expelled it. He caught another, forced it down, kept it down. This was not luck. It was the body learning to process what the mind found unacceptable. Seabirds landed on the boat at night, boobies mostly. They would perch on the bow, resting. Alvarenga would inch forward in the darkness, then strike, grabbing them by the neck. He learned to break their necks quickly, to drink the blood first. It had moisture. His body craved and tear into the flesh. He ate everything. Bones, organs, feathers, he spat out. Cordoba could not do it. He tried, but his body rejected the raw meat. He grew weaker. Water was the crisis that never relented. When it rained, they would tilt their heads back, mouths open, trying to catch drops. Alvarenga rigged a system using the boat's small canopy, funneling rainwater into empty turtle shells he had kept as containers. But rain was irregular. Days would pass in brutal sun, their lips cracking, tongues swelling. Then Alvarenga caught a sea turtle. He had seen fishermen do this in Mexico, but never tried it himself. He grabbed the turtle as it surfaced near the boat, hauled it aboard. It was heavy, thrashing. He flipped it on its back, took the boat's broken oar, and drove the splintered end through the underside of the shell, puncturing the flesh. Blood pooled. He tilted the turtle, letting the blood drain into his mouth. Pause. The taste was metallic, thick, warm, but it was liquid. It kept him alive. Cordoba was deteriorating. He could not eat the raw meat, could not keep down the turtle blood. By late December, a month into the drift, he was skeletal, delirious. He begged Alvarenga to let him drink seawater. Alvarenga refused. He knew it would kill him faster. Cordoba drank it anyway when Alvarenga slept. 3 days later, Ezequiel Cordoba died. Alvarenga woke up and found him curled in the bow, eyes open, gone. For 6 days, Alvarenga kept the body. He talked to it. He could not bring himself to put his companion into the ocean. The smell became unbearable. The body began to decompose in the tropical heat. Finally, on the 6th day, Alvarenga said a prayer he remembered from childhood and slid Cordoba's body into the water. He watched it sink. Then he was alone, completely alone. The solitude was worse than the hunger. Weeks bled into months. January, February, March. The boat drifted west, pushed by the north equatorial current. Alvarenga had no map, no sense of direction. The sun rose, crossed the sky, set. He marked time by the moon. He talked to himself constantly, narrating his actions, arguing with imaginary people, singing songs from his childhood in El Salvador. There were days when he thought about slipping into the water, ending it, but something stubbornness maybe, or fear kept him in the boat. He developed a routine. Mornings, check for birds on the boat, catch them if possible. Midday, stay in the shade of the canopy, conserve energy. Afternoon, fish, look for turtles. Night, sleep in short intervals, always alert for rain. The routine was survival, but it was also structure. It kept his mind from unraveling completely. His body transformed. He lost over 100 pounds. His beard grew wild, tangled with salt. His skin became leather, burned and reburned by the equatorial sun. His hair bleached white. He stopped resembling the man who left Mexico, but his hands stayed strong. They had to. Those hands caught birds, gutted fish, cracked turtle shells. They were the tools that kept him breathing. Sharks circled the boat constantly. At night, he could hear them bumping the hull, testing it. He would slap the water with the oar, drive them off. Once, a shark bit into the side of the boat, left tooth marks in the fiberglass. Alvarenga patched the hole with a piece of turtle shell, pressing it into the crack, letting the sun bake it sealed. In a modern workshop, this would be difficult. Here, it was nearly impossible, but it held. By summer 2013, he had drifted past the halfway point of the Pacific. He did not know this. He only knew the ocean was endless. He hallucinated regularly, now saw ships on the horizon that dissolved when he blinked, heard voices calling his name. Once, he saw his father standing on the water, waving. He waved back. September, October, November, a full year, adrift. The boat was disintegrating slowly, the fiberglass spiderwebbed with cracks. The icebox long since washed overboard. Alvarenga was a ghost, crewed by a skeleton, but he was still catching birds, still drinking turtle blood, still alive. Then, on January 29, 2014, he saw green. Not the blue-green of deep water, but the bright, vivid green of vegetation. Land. He thought it was another hallucination. He closed his eyes, counted to 10, opened them. The green was still there, closer now. The boat drifted toward a small atoll. He could see palm trees, white sand. The current pushed him into the reef. The hull scraped coral, tore open, but he was standing now, stumbling through shallow water, falling onto the beach. He crawled inland, collapsed. A man and a woman found him hours later. Locals from Ebon Atoll in the Marshall Islands. They thought he was dead. Then he moved. They carried him to a small house, gave him water. He drank, vomited, drank again. They gave him rice. He ate slowly, his stomach barely functional. Through broken Spanish and gestures, he tried to explain. 438 days, Mexico, alone. They did not believe him at first. The Marshall Islands are 6,700 miles from Mexico. No one survives that. But the boat was there, wrecked on the reef, covered in barnacles, the name still faintly visible on the hull. Officials arrived, then reporters. The story went global. Mexican fisherman survives record Pacific drift. Scientists were stunned. The human body is not supposed to endure that malnutrition, the dehydration, the psychological isolation. But Alvarenga had. His medical examination showed severe vitamin deficiencies, liver damage, anemia. But he was alive. His mind was fractured but intact. Cordoba's family wanted answers. Why did Alvarenga survive and their son did not? The truth was simpler and sadder. Cordoba was young, inexperienced, unable to adapt to eating raw meat. Alvarenga was older, tougher, more desperate. Survival is not fair. Today, the boat is gone, washed back into the ocean. But the story endures in maritime records as the longest survival drift ever documented. It endures because it resists comfort. 438 days forces us to confront an unsettling question. How much can a human being lose? Home, companion, certainty, dignity, and still choose to continue? Alvarenga had every reason to surrender. The ocean offered that escape constantly. He refused, not because he was heroic, because he was stubborn, because some part of him, stripped down to raw instinct, refused to lie down and disappear. That refusal is what survival really is, not noble, not inspiring, just the grim, relentless act of existing one more day. If stories like this challenge the way you think about human endurance, consider supporting the channel. Like the video, subscribe, and join us for more true stories of survival, isolation, and the limits of what we can withstand. Thanks for watching.